Once upon a cosmic night, amidst the twinkling stars and distant planets, sailed a formidable space pirate named Captain Orion. With his sleek ship, the Nebula Raider, he traversed the vast expanse of the universe, seeking treasures and adventure. Fear and respect followed his name wherever it echoed among the galaxies. One fateful day, while exploring a remote corner of the cosmos, Captain Orion's keen eye caught sight of a beautiful spacecraft gliding gracefully through the celestial sea. It belonged to the talented astronomer and composer, Dr. Lyra Vega. Her ship, the Star Sonata, was a wonder in itself, adorned with shimmering lights that danced like celestial beings. Intrigued by her radiance, Captain Orion could not resist the temptation to capture her ship. He ordered his crew to ensnare the Star Sonata, but upon approaching, he saw Dr. Lyra gazing out into the cosmos with awe and wonder. As he laid eyes on her, something unexpected stirred within him, a sense of connection to the universe he had never experienced before. Once aboard the Nebula Raider, Dr. Lyra was understandably terrified. But Captain Orion, though stern and fierce, had a softer side that he rarely showed. He tried to ease her fear with gentle words, explaining that he didn't mean her harm but couldn't resist the allure of her ship's beauty. Curiosity and an inexplicable pull drew him to her. As the days passed, the captive astronomer and the rogue space pirate found themselves sharing conversations about the wonders of the cosmos. Captain Orion listened intently as Lyra spoke passionately about the stars and the mysteries they held. He discovered a newfound appreciation for the vastness of space, thanks to her enchanting tales. In return, Captain Orion shared his own stories of daring escapades, encounters with mythical creatures of distant nebulae, and the thrill of interstellar chases. Slowly, their initial hostility gave way to a bond neither could comprehend. One night, while drifting among the constellations, Dr. Lyra took her precious violin and began to play. The melody she produced transcended time and space, filling the ship's cold metallic walls with warmth and beauty. Captain Orion was mesmerized, and he felt an overwhelming desire to join her in harmony. In a leap of faith, he fetched his old acoustic guitar, an heirloom from his days before becoming a pirate, and started playing alongside her. The universe seemed to hold its breath as their music intertwined, creating an ethereal symphony that resonated through the cosmos. With every note they played together, the barriers between captor and captive melted away. They laughed together, shared dreams, and confessed fears. Each night, their music became a celebration of the universe, a testament to the inexplicable connection that had formed between them. As days turned into weeks, Captain Orion found himself torn between his pirate life and the love he had come to feel for Dr. Lyra. The stars bore witness to his inner turmoil as he struggled with his past, contemplating the possibility of a different future, one with her. One evening, as they sat beneath a meteor shower, Captain Orion finally revealed the truth. He admitted that he was torn between the path he had walked and the allure of love he had found in the cosmos with her. Dr. Lyra understood his predicament, but urged him to follow his heart, to seek redemption if he truly desired it. Guided by her wisdom, Captain Orion made a daring decision, to return Dr. Lyra to her beloved Star Sonata and to step away from his life of piracy. He wanted to explore the universe alongside her, hand in hand, discovering its marvels through the eyes of an explorer rather than a plunderer. And so, they bid farewell to the Nebula Raider, embarking on a new adventure together. Dr. Lyra's music continued to resonate through the galaxies, now accompanied by Captain Orion's guitar, creating a legendary melody that sang of love, redemption, and the boundless beauty of the cosmos. They had found a cosmic connection that transcended time and space, a love story that would forever be written among the stars.
Once upon a starlit night in the quaint town of Harmonyville, there lived a young theater enthusiast named Amelia. She had always dreamed of stepping into the spotlight and gracing the stage with her talent. The sunsets painted the sky with a blend of oranges and purples as she walked past the rows of old buildings that led to the charming theater where her dreams were about to unfold. Amelia's heart pounded with excitement and nervous anticipation as she approached the grand entrance. The audition for the renowned play, Moonlit Serenade, was just a few hours away. She could hear the distant laughter and murmur of other aspiring actors and actresses, all vying for a chance to shine. Taking a deep breath, she pushed the heavy doors open and stepped inside. The theater was a mesmerizing sight, a realm of creativity and magic filled with the echoes of performances past. Amelia found her way to the dressing room where she saw herself in the mirror, her reflection seemingly unsure and trembling with self-doubt. She remembered the advice her drama teacher had given her. Be yourself, let your passion flow, and the role will embrace you. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the theater in twilight hues, Amelia slipped into her rehearsal attire and ventured backstage. The theater whispered stories of legendary performances that had graced its stage, inspiring her to find her own voice among the stars. Underneath the dim glow of a solitary spotlight, Amelia began to rehearse her monologue. Her voice wavered at first, but gradually the words flowed effortlessly, and the character came to life. She imagined herself as the brave and daring protagonist embarking on a journey to conquer her fears. Time seemed to pass both slowly and quickly as she prepared. The hustle and bustle of fellow auditionees surrounded her, but Amelia stayed immersed in her own world, perfecting every emotion and expression. As the moment of truth approached, she felt a gentle touch on her shoulder. Turning around, she saw a kind, seasoned actor named Mr. Johnson, who had performed on that very stage countless times. "Feeling a bit jittery, my dear?" he asked with a warm smile. Amelia nodded, her nerves bubbling at the surface. Mr. Johnson chuckled softly and shared his own experiences as a young theater student, trying out for his first play. His words were like a soothing balm, easing her anxiety and rekindling her belief in herself. With newfound confidence, Amelia stood before the audition panel. The director, a graceful woman with twinkling eyes, nodded encouragingly, and Amelia began her monologue. This time her voice resonated with passion and her movements with purpose. She surrendered herself to the character, and the lines flowed as though they had been etched into her heart. When Amelia finished, there was a moment of silence which felt like an eternity. Then the room erupted in applause, and her heart danced with joy. The director smiled warmly, impressed by Amelia's heartfelt performance. In the days that followed, Amelia's audition remained etched in her memory like a beautiful melody. She returned to her daily life with a sense of fulfillment and wonder, eagerly awaiting the casting results. Finally, the fateful day arrived when the cast list was to be announced. Amelia stood outside the theater once more, the anticipation almost unbearable. As the doors opened, she held her breath and stepped inside. Her eyes scanned the list, and there it was, her name, glowing like a constellation in the night sky, alongside the role of the play's brave protagonist. Joy washed over her, and she knew that this was only the beginning of her journey into the world of theater. And so, the night ended with Amelia gazing up at the stars, feeling grateful for the chance to embrace her passion fully. As she drifted off to sleep, she knew that her dreams would be filled with moonlit serenades and a world of endless possibilities. For Amelia, the stage was now her second home, and her heart was ready to shine brighter than ever before, illuminated by the magic of the theater.
Once upon a time, in the vast and mysterious land of the savannah, there lived a harmonious and loving herd of elephants. Led by the wise and gentle matriarch, Mara, the elephants lived in harmony with nature, cherishing their home and all its wonders. However, as the seasons passed, the land they called home began to change. The once lush greenery and abundant watering holes started to dwindle, leaving the herd in search of a new sanctuary. One evening, as the setting sun painted the sky in hues of gold and orange, Mara called for a gathering of the herd. They stood beneath the ancient baobab tree, its branches stretching far and wide, as Mara shared her dreams of finding a new home for the elephants, a place where they could live in peace and plenty once more. "I have heard whispers on the wind of a distant paradise," Mara spoke, with a sense of hope in her voice. "A land where the rivers flow endlessly and the grasslands are evergreen. Let us embark on a journey to find our new home." The entire herd resonated with excitement and determination. They knew that their bond and unity would guide them through any challenge that lay ahead. As the moon rose high in the night sky, the elephants began their great migration. The journey was arduous, but filled with breathtaking beauty. They traversed vast plains, crossed snaking rivers, and ventured through dense forests. Along the way, they encountered various creatures, each offering its own wisdom and guidance. A wise old owl perched atop a tree shared stories of ancient lands, and a playful troop of monkeys showed them the importance of laughter and joy, even in challenging times. As the days turned into weeks, the herd grew closer and more resilient, and the love and trust between them deepened. They learned to communicate not only with their powerful trumpet calls, but also through gentle touch and affectionate gestures. They realized that their strength lay not just in their might, but in their compassion and understanding of one another. One night, under the soft glow of the full moon, as the herd stood at the edge of a shimmering lake, they felt an overwhelming sense of peace. The reflection of the stars danced on the water's surface, and they knew they had found their new home. The land was abundant with lush vegetation, and the lake offered an endless supply of crystal-clear water. Mara's heart swelled with joy as she witnessed her family embracing their newfound paradise. She knew that this land was not just a place to call home, but a symbol of their resilience and love, a testament to the unyielding spirit of the elephant herd. In their new home, the elephants thrived, and the land seemed to rejoice in their presence. The trees stood taller, and the flowers bloomed brighter, as if to welcome the majestic creatures. The elephants' joyful trumpets echoed through the hills, carrying a message of hope and unity to all who heard. As the years passed, other animals from distant lands heard of the magical place where elephants lived in harmony. They journeyed to join the herd, forming a diverse and vibrant community where every creature contributed to the well-being of the other. And so, under the watchful eyes of Mara, the matriarch, the elephant's new home became a symbol of unity, love, and the unyielding spirit of all creatures, a haven of tranquility where dreams found refuge, and a gentle sleep enveloped every being in a warm embrace.
Once upon a time, in the vast plains of the African savannah, two unlikely companions found themselves drawn to the allure of the hunt. Tawi, a majestic lion with a golden mane, and Quito, a clever hyena with a mischievous grin, lived in neighboring territories. Though their kind had often been fierce adversaries, a unique bond began to form between them under the silver moon. One starlit evening, as the warm breeze swept across the savannah, Tawi and Quito both noticed a faint trail that led towards the heart of their homeland. It was the scent of a delicate antelope, the graceful gazelle, who had wandered deeper into their shared territory than either had ever witnessed before. Curiosity and instinct sparked within each of them, and as the sun dipped below the horizon, they both set off silently to pursue the elusive prey. Unbeknownst to one another, they embarked on a journey that would entwine their paths in an extraordinary dance of the hunt. Tawi's padded paws moved stealthily across the grasslands, every step deliberate and precise. His eyes, glowing like amber embers, scanned the horizon as he followed the scent, his powerful muscles rippling beneath his tawny fur. Meanwhile, Quito, with his cunning nature, slinked through the shadows, darting from one patch of shrubbery to another, his ears twitching to catch every rustle of the breeze. As the night deepened, the moon's silvery light cast eerie shadows upon the savannah, painting a mystical atmosphere for this enthralling chase. The lion and the hyena, unbeknownst to one another, were both closing in on the unsuspecting gazelle. With every step, their senses heightened, and their hearts pounded in harmony with the rhythm of the night. It was as if the very essence of the savannah whispered in their ears, guiding them closer to their quarry. Finally, the gazelle came into view, grazing peacefully under the gaze of the moon. Tawi and Quito were mere moments away from their goal, yet fate had a different plan. The gazelle, sensing danger, pricked up its delicate ears and took off in a burst of speed. The lion and the hyena sprang into action, racing after the fleeting gazelle, their pursuit now transforming into a breathtaking symphony of grace and agility. They weaved through the landscape, sometimes mere inches apart, without even realizing the other's presence. As the chase escalated, a curious energy enveloped them. Rather than becoming adversaries, they were now dance partners in this thrilling hunt, a ballet of predator and prey. Their paths crisscrossed, they circled and chased, but never once did they collide. The gazelle, driven by sheer survival, managed to keep a small lead, but Tawi and Quito, both relentless and determined, refused to give up. The lion and the hyena were so entranced in this dance of pursuit that they were unaware of their unique connection, both sharing the same goal, bound by the wild spirit of the savannah. In the end, as the first rays of dawn painted the horizon in hues of gold and pink, the gazelle's strength waned. With a final, graceful leap, Tawi captured his prize, while Quito watched from a distance, acknowledging the lion's rightful victory. As the day broke, Tawi feasted on his hard-earned meal, while Quito found sustenance elsewhere. Their dance of the hunt had come to an end, but something profound had changed between them. They had shared an experience that transcended their roles as adversaries, and a newfound respect blossomed. From that night on, Tawi and Quito became an extraordinary duo in the savannah. They weren't always hunting the same prey, but whenever they crossed paths, there was a moment of mutual understanding, a reminder of that mystical night when they danced in harmony under the silver moon. And so, the legend of the lion and the hyena spread across the savannah, a story of camaraderie and the unbreakable bond forged by the wild spirit of the hunt. And on warm nights when the moon shone bright, the echoes of their dance could still be heard, inspiring new generations of hunters to look beyond their differences and embrace the beauty of unity in the vastness of the African wilderness.
Once upon a time in the enchanting city of Paris, two young souls found themselves inexplicably drawn to each other. Their names were Eloise and Julienne. As fate would have it, they were both visiting the city of love for the first time. Eloise, a vivacious artist from New York City, had come to Paris seeking inspiration for her next masterpiece. Julienne, a passionate writer from London, had journeyed to the city in pursuit of a tale that would capture the essence of love. Little did they know that the streets of Paris would weave their destinies together in a tale that would be etched in their hearts forever. Their paths crossed one evening at a charming café along the Seine River. As the stars began to shimmer in the velvety sky, the serenade of an accordion filled the air. The café's ambiance seemed to hum with magic, and in that very moment, their eyes met, igniting an undeniable spark. The next day, Eloise decided to explore the quaint neighborhoods of Montmartre, hoping to find inspiration in its artistic spirit. As she wandered through the cobblestone streets and colorful cafes, she stumbled upon Julien sitting under the shade of a tree, his notebook in hand, intently writing. Intrigued by the sight of the passionate writer, Eloise mustered the courage to introduce herself. Julienne smiled warmly, and soon they found themselves engrossed in conversations about art, literature, and the beauty of Paris. As the day faded into dusk, they realized they had unwittingly spent hours together, as if time had surrendered to their connection. In the days that followed, Eloise and Julienne became inseparable, exploring the city hand in hand. They visited the Louvre, marveling at the Mona Lisa's enigmatic smile, and strolled along the Seine, watching the river flow gracefully beneath the majestic bridges. One evening, as they ascended the Eiffel Tower, the lights of Paris twinkling around them, Julian confessed that he had always believed in the magic of love, but it was in Eloise's presence that he truly understood its power. Her eyes shimmered with gratitude, and she shared how she had never felt more alive than when she was with him. They spent many evenings sitting by the banks of the Seine, laughing, dreaming, and falling deeply in love. Every moment seemed like a painting, with each stroke of their budding romance adding a new hue to the canvas of their story. One night, while walking along the Champs-Élysées, Julian surprised Eloise with a heartfelt serenade. Under the soft glow of street lamps, his voice filled with tenderness, he sang a song he had written just for her. The music danced in the air, and Eloise's heart swelled with joy, knowing that this was a moment she would cherish forever. As their time in Paris drew to a close, they knew they couldn't let this love story end. In a bittersweet decision, they vowed to keep their connection alive, no matter the distance that separated them. They exchanged heartfelt promises, promising to visit each other and to continue growing together despite the challenges that lay ahead. On the day of their departure, Eloise and Julian stood hand in hand, looking out at the sunrise over the Seine. The city that had brought them together now symbolized the love they shared, and as they bid farewell to Paris, they knew that the city would always hold a special place in their hearts. And so, dear listener, whether you're a dreamer wandering through the streets of Paris or resting in the comfort of your own bed, may you find inspiration in the love story of Eloise and Julian. Remember, love knows no boundaries, and sometimes the most magical moments happen when we least expect them. As you drift into the realm of dreams, know that love can lead us on the most extraordinary journeys of the heart. Sweet dreams.
Once upon a time in the picturesque town of Meadowville, there lived a young tennis prodigy named Emily. Her graceful movements on the court and unmatched skill with the racket made her a rising star in the tennis world. Emily's dreams were as big as her heart, and she had set her sights on becoming the best tennis player the world had ever seen. However, fate had other plans. One sunny afternoon, while practicing her serves with unwavering dedication, Emily suffered a severe injury to her right wrist. The pain was excruciating, but what hurt her even more was the thought that her dreams might shatter before they could take flight. Doctors advised her to rest and recuperate, but the road to recovery seemed long and uncertain. As Emily lay in her bed, gazing at the stars through her window, she felt a profound sense of loss and frustration. Her tennis racket rested against the wall, untouched, and it felt like an old friend who had suddenly turned its back on her. Sleep often evaded her, and when it did come, her dreams were filled with anxious forebodings about her future in tennis. One night, as Emily lay tossing and turning, a magical dream enveloped her. She found herself standing on a tennis court made of stardust. The ethereal glow of the court illuminated her path, and there, in the distance, she saw a wise and elegant figure, Lady Luna, the moon goddess. With a calming voice, Lady Luna spoke to Emily. "Child of the stars, do not despair, for the darkest nights lead to the brightest mornings. Your injury is but a detour on your journey, not the end. Embrace the healing power of dreams and allow your spirit to soar amidst the stars. Through her dream, Emily understood that healing was not just about physical recovery, but also about nourishing her mind and soul. She began a new ritual where every night before bed, she visualized herself playing tennis under the warm glow of the moon. In her mind, her wrist was strong and her shots were powerful. She felt the rhythm of the game and the joy it brought her. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, Emily's determination grew stronger. She engaged in gentle exercises and physical therapy, patiently nurturing her wrist back to health. Her family and friends supported her, and they spent countless evenings cheering her on during her imaginary matches beneath the moonlit sky. One night, as she dreamt of playing in the most prestigious tennis tournament, a radiant figure appeared before her, the Star Fairy. The fairy sprinkled stardust on Emily's racket, infusing it with celestial energy. "This enchanted racket shall be a beacon of hope and resilience," proclaimed the Star Fairy. "Use it wisely, for it holds the power of the universe." Empowered by the Star Fairy's gift, Emily felt a newfound strength within her. She resumed her training, this time with a magical twist. Every stroke of her racket felt guided by the stars themselves, and she moved on the court with a grace and confidence that surpassed her previous self. The news of Emily's return to training spread like wildfire, and the entire town rallied behind her. She became an inspiration to many, and young tennis enthusiasts flocked to watch her practice. Emily felt the weight of their hopes, but she embraced it with a smile. She realized that her journey was not just about herself. It was about resilience, dreams, and the power to overcome challenges. At last, the day of the much-awaited tournament arrived. The world watched with bated breath as Emily stepped onto the court, her enchanted racket gleaming in the sunlight. Every swing of her racket felt like poetry in motion, and her wrist, once injured, now moved effortlessly. In a thrilling display of skill and heart, Emily fought her way through the tournament, match by match, until she reached the finals. There, she faced the reigning champion, Serena Steelheart. It was a battle of grit and talent, but Emily held her ground, using the lessons she learned in her dreams to stay focused and composed. In the final set, with the stadium echoing with cheers and applause, Emily summoned the power of the stars and delivered a shot that left everyone spellbound. It was a shot that defined her journey, a shot that carried the weight of her dreams and the strength of her spirit. As the ball gracefully kissed the line, sealing Emily's victory, she knew that her story was no longer just about being a tennis prodigy. It was a tale of resilience, perseverance, and the transformative power of dreams. With her heart full of gratitude and her eyes shining like stars, she lifted the trophy high, dedicating her triumph to everyone who believed in her, and to the magic of the moonlit dreams that guided her back to glory. And so, the legend of Emily, the resilient racket, spread across the world, inspiring generations to come. The stardust from her enchanted racket sprinkled upon tennis courts everywhere, reminding players that the journey to greatness begins with believing in oneself and finding strength in the darkest of nights, just like Emily did. Once upon a time, in a quaint little village nestled between rolling hills and shimmering lakes, there lived a man named Ethan. He was a kind and gentle soul who had recently proposed to his beloved fiancée, Eliza. They were the epitome of happiness, or so he thought. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow across the landscape, Ethan decided to take a leisurely stroll through the village to clear his mind and prepare for a restful night's sleep. He followed the winding path that led to a picturesque clearing where the night sky unveiled a breathtaking spectacle of twinkling stars. As he lay down on the soft grass, he couldn't help but think about the joyous days he had spent with Eliza, their laughter, their dreams, and their shared aspirations. But tonight, there was a weight on his heart, a gnawing feeling that something wasn't right. Just then, a wise old man appeared beside him, his eyes glimmering with kindness. He introduced himself as Samuel, the village storyteller, and offered to tell Ethan a tale that might help him find the answers he sought. Samuel began weaving a story of love and betrayal, much like the stars that shone above them. He spoke of two souls who were destined to be together, but one of them wandered astray. This tale, though fictional, struck a chord within Ethan's heart, as if the old man knew his deepest fears. As the night unfolded, Samuel's story unfolded too, and Ethan found himself captivated by every word. In the protagonist's journey of discovery, he learned that true love transcends the pain of betrayal. It was a revelation that brought tears to his eyes. Realizing that love wasn't about holding on to someone who hurt you, but finding the strength to heal and move forward. Feeling a newfound sense of clarity, Ethan thanked Samuel for his wisdom and decided to confront Eliza the next day. He couldn't bear to let suspicion and uncertainty poison the love they once shared. As he drifted off to sleep under the stars, he felt an odd sense of peace, knowing that whatever the outcome, he would be okay. The next morning, he met Eliza in their favorite spot, a charming cafe with sunflowers blooming all around. He looked into her eyes, the eyes that once reflected love and adoration, and gently asked about the truth he had discovered. As the words escaped his lips, tears welled up in her eyes, confirming the betrayal. Eliza confessed that she had been entangled in a web of deceit, torn between her love for Ethan and an ill-fated affair with another man. She regretted her actions deeply and admitted that she was afraid of losing Ethan forever. In that moment, Ethan felt a mixture of emotions: anger, sadness, and disappointment. But he also found himself remembering the story Samuel had shared with him, and he realized that forgiving Eliza didn't mean condoning her actions. It meant freeing himself from the burden of anger and bitterness. As they sat there, the sunflowers swayed in the gentle breeze, and Ethan found the strength to forgive Eliza, not for her sake, but for his own. They decided to part ways amicably, acknowledging that sometimes love takes unexpected turns, leading to new beginnings. In the days that followed, Ethan found solace in the love and support of his friends and family. He poured his heart into pursuing his passions, and slowly the pain began to fade, replaced by hope for a brighter future. Under the starlit sky, where his journey of healing began, Ethan realized that life would continue to unfold, and the stars above would always be there to guide him through the darkest nights. And so he embraced the beauty of life's unpredictability, trusting that the universe had something extraordinary in store for him. And as the village's storyteller Samuel had said, love may be lost, but the lessons it leaves behind are stars that will always shine within us.
Once upon a time, in the enchanting land of India, nestled between majestic mountains and vast plains, there lived a humble and wise camel named Amar. Amar was not just an ordinary camel. He was renowned for his boundless curiosity and adventurous spirit. He lived with a loving and caring caravan of nomads, traversing the diverse landscapes of India, sharing laughter and stories under the shimmering night skies. One fine day, as the sun began its descent over the horizon, the nomadic caravan set out on a journey to a distant village. With bells jingling and laughter echoing through the air, Amar walked with a sense of excitement and wonder, eagerly awaiting the new sights and sounds that awaited him. However, as the day turned into night, something felt different. Amar noticed that he had strayed away from his caravan while daydreaming about the wonders of the world. Panic washed over him as he realized he was alone in the vastness of the Indian wilderness. The moon illuminated the landscape with a gentle glow, casting eerie shadows all around. In a state of bewilderment, Amar wandered through the darkened terrain, searching for any sign of his beloved caravan. But the more he wandered, the more lost he felt. Fear gripped his heart as he thought about how he would survive alone in the wild. Just as despair began to take hold of Amar's spirit, he heard a faint, melodious voice whispering in the breeze. The voice seemed to beckon him, leading him forward with hope in his heart. As he followed the ethereal sound, he discovered a wise old elephant named Nalin, standing majestically amidst the moonlit forest. Nalin sensed Amar's distress and extended his trunk in a reassuring gesture. "Do not worry, young one. You are not alone. The universe always guides those in need." Nalin spoke with wisdom and kindness. Touched by Nalin's comforting words, Amar mustered the courage to share his tale of being lost. Nalin listened patiently, his gentle eyes reflecting the wisdom of ages. "Sometimes the journey of self-discovery leads us into the unknown," Nalin said. "Fear not, for this moment of being lost will help you find yourself." With newfound hope in his heart, Amar decided to embrace the wisdom of the old elephant and embark on a journey of self-discovery. Together, they traversed through mystical forests and crossed rivers that shimmered like silver under the moonlight. They encountered fascinating creatures, heard enchanting melodies, and felt the gentle touch of the breeze. During their journey, Amar learned the value of patience and the joy of being in the present moment. He discovered the beauty in the smallest of things, the rustling leaves and the twinkling stars. With each step, he felt his worries and fears fading away, replaced by a sense of wonder and gratitude. As the days turned into weeks, Amar and Nalin forged a deep bond. They laughed, shared stories, and became inseparable companions. Amar realized that sometimes the most unexpected detours could lead to the most extraordinary adventures. One bright morning, as the sun painted the sky with hues of gold and pink, Amar heard familiar bells jingling in the distance. He knew that his beloved caravan was nearby. With a heart full of gratitude, Amar bid a tearful farewell to his wise friend, Nalin, knowing that their paths would cross again someday. Reunited with his caravan, Amar was welcomed with open arms and warm embraces. He shared his incredible journey with his companions, and they were in awe of the lessons he had learned. From that day on, Amar's curious spirit was infused with a newfound wisdom. He no longer feared the unknown, for he knew that even in the darkest of times, the universe would guide him. And so, the wandering wanderer continued his adventures with a heart brimming with love, wisdom, and the magic of India. As the caravan moved on, the legend of Amar, the wise camel who found himself in the midst of being lost, echoed through the hills and plains, inspiring all who heard the tale to embrace the beauty of life's unexpected journeys. And so, the enchanting story of the lost camel in India continued to live on in the hearts of wanderers and dreamers alike.
Once upon a time, in the vibrant metropolis of Padgia, lived a young and valiant superhero named Vala. His heart was pure, and his intentions were always to protect the innocent and uphold justice. Padgia was a city facing numerous challenges, with an ever-growing wave of sinister villains determined to spread chaos. Vala had vowed to shield his beloved city from the darkness that threatened to engulf it. As the moon cast its silvery glow over Padgia, Vala stood atop a skyscraper, gazing out over the city he had sworn to defend. He could sense something amiss, an ominous presence lurking in the shadows. Unbeknownst to him, a new foe had emerged, the malevolent phantom, a cunning and maleficent figure with an insatiable thirst for destruction. The malevolent phantom was unlike any adversary Vala had faced before. With each encounter, the villain seemed to grow more powerful, more twisted. He reveled in causing pain and suffering, and his wicked laughter echoed through the alleyways and deserted streets. The sinister force behind the malevolent phantom was a mystery, but his malevolence was undeniable. As the days passed, Vala faced a growing dilemma. The malevolent phantom's schemes became more malevolent and sinister, pushing the city to the brink of collapse. Every attempt to subdue the villain seemed futile, and Vala's confidence wavered. Doubt began to creep into his heart as he grappled with the weight of his responsibilities. One fateful night, the malevolent phantom launched a devastating attack on Padgia's central power station, plunging the city into darkness. Panic spread like wildfire among the citizens, and Vala knew that he had to act swiftly to restore hope and safety. Guided by his strong sense of justice, he tracked the villain to his hidden lair, determined to put an end to the malevolent phantom's reign of terror once and for all. Inside the lair, Vala confronted the malevolent phantom, and their clash ignited the darkness with fierce, dazzling flashes of light. Despite his resolve, Vala hesitated. He had never taken a life before, and the burden weighed heavily on his conscience. The malevolent phantom, sensing Vala's internal conflict, taunted him cruelly, trying to exploit his uncertainty. In that moment of vulnerability, a vision of his parents, who had taught him to cherish life and protect the innocent, appeared in Vala's mind. They reminded him that sometimes difficult decisions had to be made for the greater good. Vala understood that sparing the malevolent phantom would only perpetuate his evil deeds, putting more innocent lives at risk. Summoning all his courage, Vala made a resolute choice. With tears in his eyes, he unleashed a powerful blast of energy, striking the malevolent phantom with a force that shattered his dark heart. As the malevolent phantom faded into oblivion, his final words of disbelief echoed in the air. In the aftermath of the battle, Vala stood alone in the lair, grappling with the emotions that surged through him. He mourned the loss of life, but understood that sometimes, in the face of true evil, there were no easy answers. As the sun rose over Padgia, the city began to heal from the malevolent phantom's reign, and hope was rekindled in the hearts of its people. Vala learned that being a hero meant confronting not only external foes, but also the internal struggles that came with wielding great power. He vowed to honor the memory of those who had fallen victim to evil by continuing to protect the innocent and upholding the principles of justice. Through the trials he faced, Vala emerged stronger, wiser, and more committed to preserving the light in a world that sometimes seemed so dark. And so, the legend of Vala the valiant superhero of Pagia, lived on, inspiring generations to come and reminding them that even in the most challenging of times, true courage and compassion would always triumph over darkness.